What's up guys, Tomasi here, and today I have a brand new video to talk about the new weapon tuning changes that are going to be going into effect in the April update. So as you guys know, the Coalition had sent out a survey back in February asking what kind of changes we would like to see in the weapon tuning for core and competitive game modes. So now in the April update, we actually have some details on exactly what is going to be changing in these new modes. So basically in core, they did two things. They did a little bit of gameplay changes and they did massive changes to the starting weapons plus a few additional weapons. So first off, we'll start with the gameplay changes. They changed the weapon respawn time. They increased it to 60 seconds. Currently, right now, we are at 30 seconds. They increased the vault stun time by 15%, and they also increased the yank stun time by 25%, which has a huge effect on how we actually move and maneuver around the map. I know me personally, I have either mantled or yanked somebody and it feels like you can't get the kill right away. So with this increase, it's going to be, in my opinion, a lot more effective to actually use those yanks and mantles that they implemented in the game. So moving on to actual weapon tunings that they have made changes to, the Gnasher of course always gets modified. So in this update there is no difference. So with the March update, they actually changed how the bullets were and the pellets were coming out of the gun. First it started at the stock pre-update. Now in the March update, they actually changed the pellets to come out of the barrel. So with that change, now in the April weapon tuning change, we are going to have a little bit more focus on the close range of the weapon and not so much of the medium range of the Gnasher. So what they did was they changed the close range damage of the Gnasher. It falls off 25% faster. They have the active reload effect time decreased to 5 seconds. It was currently at 8 seconds, and the active reload cooldown time increased to 11 seconds, which currently is at 8 seconds. Now moving on to the Lancer. Now they had mentioned that the Lancer is kind of a weapon that can do all: long range, close range, medium range. There was no really distinguished lines where the Lancer was supposed to be. So what they have done, they increased the Lancer damage by 5%. The headshot damage decreased by 10%, basically averaging out the weapon and making it so that the Lancer, wherever you shoot, is going to deal about the same damage per minute instead of doing a different amount in the headshots compared to the body shots. They also decreased the magazine size from 40 to 50, which means you have to be a lot more effective on your shots, and your accuracy has to be at a higher percentage in order to deal the same amount of damage that we have been dealing in the past. Also, the total ammo capacity has been reduced to 400, and it was currently at 500. Now moving on to the other starting weapon, we have the Hammerburst, which now they are distinguishing to be the long range rifle. They increased the damage by 8%. The headshot damage increased by 3%. Also, the stopping power is increased by 33% per bullet. Now the difference is, in this, they increased the stopping power, yes, but they changed how it is going to be used. The effectiveness at close range, medium range, and long range. Now, close range stopping power has been decreased by 60%, which means that there's pretty much no stopping power with the Hammerburst when a person gets close range to you. Now, medium range, they increased it by 7%. And this is where the huge difference is. The long range effectiveness, the stopping power effectiveness of the Hammerburst has been increased by 400%, which means that this Hammerburst is going to be used a lot more frequently after this update comes out. Also, the weapon recoil per shot has been decreased by 25%, making it a lot easier to handle. Plus, the magazine size has been increased from 21 to 27 now. And a few other changes that they have made to the core weapon tuning. The Buzzkill magazine size has been increased to 15. Currently it is sitting at 10. the Retro Lancer has been decreased by 5% damage, so it's not as effective as it was previously, but it still is effective weapon to use. Now, if you guys haven't seen my best support weapon between the Markska and the Retro Lancer, I'll leave a link in the description. You guys can go check that out, but it is obviously going to be a little different now. It may swing a different way now, considering that the damage has been decreased on the Retro Lancer in core game modes. Now, moving on to competitive, the gameplay changes that they have made. The respawn time for secondary weapons changed to 90 seconds, which currently it is at 60 seconds. It affects the Enforcer, the Hammerburst, the Markska, the Bolt Talk, the Retro Lancer, and the Overkill. Also, the Volt Stun and the Yank Stun have also been increased the same amount, 15% for the Volt, 25% for the Yank. And moving on to the weapons tuning that they have changed. Now, the Gnasher, the short range damage decreased by 3%. The medium range damage multiplier increased by 15%. It was currently at 12.5. The long range damage multiplier increased by 7.5%, and it was currently at 5%. Active reload effect time decreased 5 seconds. It was at 8. And active reload cooldown time increased to 7 seconds. So the only changes between this Gnasher and the core Gnasher now are that there is a little bit more damage done with this Gnasher than the core Gnasher. Now, moving on to the Lancer, nothing has changed with the effectiveness of the weapon. It is just that the magazine size has been decreased to 40 from 50, and the total ammo capacity has been decreased to 400 from 500. Now, the Hammerburst changes in competitive are the exact same as core. They increase the headshot damage, they decrease the stopping power at short to medium range, and they increase the long range stopping power, and they increase the magazine size from 21 to 27. A couple other weapon changes that they have made. The Bolt Talk, the active reload rate fire bonus decreased to 125%. It was at 200. Everybody that knows that the Bolt Talk is a very effective weapon. It is going to be a little less lethal than it was in competitive, now bumping it down to 125 instead of 200%. Also, the Retro Lancer, it was decreased by 5% in core, but it also has a decrease in damage by 9% in competitive. And the Markska, the headshots no longer kill down but not out enemies. So there you guys go. There's a quick little rundown of exactly what the changes are going to be for the weapon tunings and the gameplay tunings for core and competitive modes in the April update. Make sure to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think these changes are good, if these changes are bad, if you're excited to test out these new weapon tunings in the core or competitive modes. And make sure to like this video if you guys enjoyed or you guys are hyped for the April update. And make sure to subscribe for further update videos, all on Gears of War 4.
Yeah. The wake up. Listen, here, fuck, boy. I'm the new guy on a block now. Saved from the school of hard knocks, boy, you dropped out. I don't see the credentials, I don't see the potential. Every night I'm in my room with a pad and a pencil. Said no to the fuck shit. These days, who knows what trust is? I'm just trying to make